Be silent and act as if you have nothing to lose. Stoicism. In today's fast-paced world where every second is filled with the clamor of demands, distractions, and digital noise, there is an often overlooked strength that lies in silence. Welcome to Stoic in Your Life, where we explore the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and its relevance to modern living. Today we're diving deep into a transformative practice the Stoics held dear: being silent and acting as if you have nothing to lose. But this isn't about merely keeping quiet. It's about cultivating a powerful inner stillness, a purposeful silence that frees us from the tyranny of overthinking, needless chatter, and impulsive reactions. Marcus Aurelius, one of Stoicism's greatest practitioners, believed that silence allows us to reconnect with our core values, reminding us of what truly matters. In a world overwhelmed by constant notifications and relentless opinions, adopting this strategic silence isn't about retreating. It's about advancing with intention, strength, and clarity. Think about navigating through life's challenges like a seasoned sailor in a storm, not with frantic maneuvers, but with calm, calculated actions, guided by an inner compass of wisdom. This is the essence of Stoic silence. It is not a weakness, but a profound display of self-control and resilience. By choosing silence, we create space to listen more, both to the world around us and, crucially, to the whispers of our own soul. And in doing so, we gain the clarity to act not from fear, but from purpose, not from compulsion, but from choice. Stay with us as we explore how embracing this ancient practice can empower you to live with more confidence, clarity, and calmness in the noisy modern world. 1. Embrace strategic silence. In a world that never seems to quiet down, where every moment is filled with a barrage of noise and distraction, there exists a hidden power that most of us overlook: the power of strategic silence. This concept, revered by the Stoics, is not just about refraining from speaking. It's about acting with the wisdom of knowing when to be still and when to move, embodying a mindset that resonates deeply with the idea of having nothing to lose. As the great Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Let's delve into why silence is more powerful than noise, and how it can become your greatest ally in this noisy world. Embracing strategic silence is not merely about the absence of words. It's about cultivating a profound inner stillness, a calm presence that allows you to listen more deeply to both yourself and the world around you. In our society, where speaking up and being loud is often equated with power and authority, the Stoic approach teaches us something radically different: that there is immense strength in holding back, in being silent, and in choosing not to engage in every battle. This kind of silence is not an act of submission or weakness, but a deliberate and powerful choice to conserve energy and to respond only when necessary. As Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This perspective is especially relevant in today's hyper-connected world, where everyone seems to be vying for attention, validation, and approval. In a digital age dominated by social media, where every opinion is broadcasted and every thought is shared, strategic silence becomes an act of rebellion, a conscious decision to disengage from the noise and focus on what truly matters. Consider the wisdom of remaining silent in situations where speaking might lead to unnecessary conflict or misunderstanding. In these moments, silence becomes a tool for maintaining control over oneself and one's emotions. It's about choosing your battles wisely and understanding that not every slight or insult requires a response. The art of silence also involves listening more than speaking. This is where true growth and learning occur, by being receptive to the world around us, by hearing what is often left unsaid, and by observing without the need to immediately react. As Seneca put it, "It is a great thing to know the season for speech and the season for silence." This ability to discern when to speak and when to remain silent is a hallmark of wisdom and maturity. For men in the prime of their lives, from 30 to 65, This approach can be particularly empowering. It teaches us that there is strength in restraint, and that by not engaging in every argument or debate, we conserve our energy for more meaningful pursuits. Moreover, in practicing silence, we also develop the skill of active listening, not just to others, but to ourselves. It allows us to tune into our inner voice, to understand our thoughts and feelings without the distraction of external noise. This practice can help us become more self-aware, more in tune with our own needs and desires, and ultimately, more confident in our decisions. In the words of Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, "We have 2 ears, 1 mouth, so we should listen more than we say." This simple truth holds profound wisdom, especially in a world where most of us are conditioned to speak before we think. In modern life, where we are constantly bombarded by information, advertisements, and endless streams of digital content, the ability to remain silent and reflect can be incredibly grounding. It allows us to step back from the noise, to clear our minds, and to approach situations with a fresh perspective. It teaches us patience and humility, reminding us that we don't have to have an opinion on everything, and that sometimes the best response is no response at all. As the Stoics believed, true power comes from mastering oneself, from controlling our impulses, and from acting with deliberate intention. For men who are looking to lead more purposeful lives, the practice of strategic silence offers a path to greater clarity and focus. It allows us to cut through the noise, to understand what is truly important, and to act with greater wisdom and foresight. It's about recognizing that sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is to simply be still, to listen, and to wait. And when the time comes to act, we do so with the full force of our convictions, unencumbered by the distractions that so often cloud our judgment. So how can you apply this principle of strategic silence in your daily life? Start by identifying situations where your silence could be more impactful than your words. This could be in a heated conversation where emotions are running high, a business negotiation where listening can reveal more than speaking, or even in moments of personal reflection where silence allows you to connect with your inner self. Remember the words of Epictetus: "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." Use this as a guide to measure your words carefully and to recognize the power that lies in holding back. Embracing strategic silence is not about withdrawing from life, but about engaging with it more fully and thoughtfully. It's about learning to choose your moments, to conserve your energy, and to act with purpose. In a world that often rewards noise, the practice of silence can set you apart, giving you a distinct edge in both your personal and professional life. It's about being wise enough to know when to speak and when to remain silent, and understanding that sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is the one you don't say at all. So take a moment to reflect on how you can bring more silence into your life, not as an absence of sound, but as a presence of strength, wisdom, and clarity. The Stoics understood this well, and their teachings continue to resonate, offering timeless advice for those of us seeking to navigate the complexities of modern existence with grace and resilience. 2. Control what is within your power. Let's explore the concept of control, a fundamental principle in Stoicism that resonates deeply with modern life, particularly with the idea of acting as if you have nothing to lose. Control what is within your power is a timeless Stoic lesson that teaches us to focus on the things we can directly influence while letting go of what we cannot. This principle, when truly understood, can transform the way we approach life, decisions, and even our most challenging moments. Think about it. How often do you find yourself stressed or frustrated over things that are beyond your control? Traffic jams, the weather, other people's opinions, or the unpredictable turns of events. These are all outside your domain of influence. As Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely noted, we cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them. This statement invites us to shift our focus from what happens to us to how we choose to react, and in doing so, reclaim our inner peace and stability. Consider a modern-day story to illustrate this. Picture a successful entrepreneur, let's call him John, who has built his company from the ground up. John faces a sudden economic downturn, and his business starts to struggle. He has two choices. He can either panic, complain, and waste his energy worrying about the state of the economy, something entirely out of his control, or he can focus on what he can control, his response, his strategy, and his mindset. John decides to cut unnecessary expenses, innovate new services that cater to the current market needs, and maintain a positive outlook for his team. Instead of drowning in the uncontrollable waves of the economic storm, John chooses to navigate his ship wisely, steering it in a direction where he has more influence. In the end, John's business not only survives but thrives. His story is a powerful example of how focusing on what is within our power, our actions, our decisions, our attitudes, can lead to better outcomes, even in the face of adversity. But why is it so difficult to let go of things outside our control? It's because we are often conditioned to believe that we should be able to manage every aspect of our lives. We tend to worry about how others perceive us, about future events that may never happen, and about outcomes that are largely determined by external forces. This incessant need for control over the uncontrollable leads to unnecessary stress and anxiety. So ask yourself, what are you holding on to that is beyond your control? Is it someone else's behavior? A past mistake? A fear of an uncertain future? The Stoics encourage us to recognize these burdens and release them. The chief task in life is simply this: to identify and separate matters so that I can say clearly to myself which are externalities not under my control and which have to do with the choices I actually control, said Epictetus. This mental clarity empowers us to focus our energy and efforts on areas where we can make a real difference. To bring this closer to home, consider a time when you felt overwhelmed by a situation, a disagreement with a friend, a missed opportunity, or even a bad day at work. Reflect on how much of your distress was due to your focus on factors beyond your control. What if, instead, you had directed your energy toward what you could control, your attitude, your response, and your future actions? What if you had chosen to act as if you had nothing to lose, freeing yourself from the fear of external opinions and outcomes? This is not about carelessness or indifference, but about reclaiming your power over your inner world. When you realize that the only thing you truly control is yourself, your thoughts, emotions, and actions, there is a profound sense of liberation. You become less concerned with what others think, less attached to outcomes, and more focused on living according to your values and principles. A powerful lesson here is that by controlling what is within your power, you build resilience. You learn to stand firm in the face of life's inevitable uncertainties and challenges, not because you can predict or manipulate every situation, but because you trust your ability to respond wisely and calmly. It's about training your mind to stay centered even when everything around you is in flux. You cultivate a sense of inner stability that is not easily shaken by external events. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, reminds us in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This realization is the cornerstone of Stoic practice and a profound guide to leading a life of purpose and tranquility. Now think about your own life. How can you apply this principle of focusing on what is within your power? Start by making a conscious effort to let go of things that drain your energy but are beyond your control. This might mean accepting the outcome of a situation you've done your best in, forgiving someone who wronged you instead of holding on to resentment, or choosing not to react impulsively to someone else's negative behavior. It also means being proactive in areas where your efforts can create positive change, like nurturing your relationships, pursuing your goals with determination, or maintaining your health and well-being. By doing this, you not only reduce unnecessary stress, but also create a more balanced and fulfilling life. So the next time you are faced with a challenge, pause and ask yourself, what part of this can I control? Focus on that, pour your energy into it, and let go of the rest. This doesn't mean you don't care about the outcome, but that you trust yourself enough to handle whatever comes next. By mastering the art of controlling what is within your power, you build a foundation of strength and resilience that no external force can easily shake. And in this way, you act as if you have nothing to lose, because in the realm of your own mind and actions, you truly don't. Ultimately, the Stoic teaching of controlling what is within your power offers a path to greater peace, confidence, and fulfillment in life. It teaches us that while we cannot control everything that happens to us, we can always choose how we respond. And in that choice lies our greatest power. This is the message that Stoicism offers, and it is as relevant today as it was centuries ago. It invites us to stop wasting our energy on what we cannot change, and instead focus on becoming the best version of ourselves within the limits of our own control. So, take this lesson to heart, apply it to your life, and see how it transforms not only your mindset, but your entire approach to living. 3. Practice self-reflection. Let's dive into the Stoic practice of self-reflection, a powerful tool for personal growth and mastery. Self-reflection is not just about looking back on your day or thinking about your actions. It's about deeply understanding who you are, why you act the way you do, and how you can align yourself more closely with your true values. The Stoics believed that to lead a meaningful and virtuous life, one must regularly engage in this kind of introspection. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, wrote in his Meditations, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." This quote reminds us that our thoughts shape our character, and only through honest self-reflection can we see if those thoughts and actions align with our principles. But what does self-reflection really look like, and how can you incorporate it into your daily routine to act as if you have nothing to lose? Consider for a moment the importance of self-reflection in your own life. How often do you take the time to sit quietly and examine your actions, your words, and even your thoughts? The Stoics would ask themselves at the end of each day, what did I do well? What could I have done better? This isn't about self-criticism, but about self-improvement. By asking these questions, you can begin to understand your motivations and identify areas for growth. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, emphasized this practice, saying, "We should every night call ourselves to an account. What infirmity have I mastered today? What passions are opposed? What temptation resisted? What virtue acquired?" These questions guide us to look inward, to evaluate our actions honestly, and to see where we may have strayed from our path of wisdom and virtue. Now think about the distractions and noise that fill our lives today. The constant stream of notifications, the endless chase for likes and validation, the never-ending cycle of news and entertainment. All these external factors can cloud our judgment and pull us away from a deeper understanding of ourselves. In this modern age, self-reflection becomes even more critical because it helps us cut through the clutter and return to what truly matters. It's about taking a moment to pause amidst the chaos, to be silent, and to turn your attention inward. But how do we do this effectively? How do we practice self-reflection in a way that truly transforms our lives? First, consider setting aside a specific time each day for reflection. It doesn't have to be long, perhaps just 10 or 15 minutes in the evening, a quiet moment to review your day. Ask yourself, did my actions today reflect my values? Did I act with integrity, courage, and kindness? Where did I fall short, and what can I learn from those moments? Reflecting on these questions can help you stay grounded and focused on your personal growth. You might find that keeping a journal is helpful, a place where you can jot down your thoughts, feelings, and reflections. Writing things down not only helps clarify your thoughts, but also allows you to track your progress over time. You might even begin to see patterns in your behavior, both positive and negative, that you weren't aware of before. Additionally, think about the power of silence in self-reflection. In our noisy world, silence can be a rare commodity, but it's in those quiet moments that we often gain the greatest insights. By sitting in silence, you allow yourself to hear your inner voice more clearly. As Epictetus, another revered Stoic, said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." This might sound harsh, but it speaks to the value of humility and self-reflection. It's about being willing to see yourself honestly, without the ego that often gets in the way of true self-assessment. So, how comfortable are you with silence? Do you find yourself filling every quiet moment with noise, or can you sit peacefully with your own thoughts? Think about a time when self-reflection might have changed the outcome of a situation in your life. Perhaps you reacted impulsively in a heated argument or made a decision without considering its long-term consequences. If you had taken a moment to reflect, to pause and think about your actions, could you have approached the situation differently? Self-reflection gives us the space to consider our responses and to choose a path that aligns with our values and goals. It's about taking ownership of your actions and understanding that every choice you make shapes who you are becoming. Moreover, self-reflection isn't just about correcting mistakes. It's also about celebrating your successes. When was the last time you reflected on something you did well? Perhaps you handled a challenging situation with grace, showed kindness to a stranger, or stood firm in your principles when it wasn't easy. Recognizing these moments reinforces positive behavior and encourages you to continue on your path of growth. The Stoics believed that by regularly reflecting on both our triumphs and failures, we could continuously refine our character and move closer to the ideal of a virtuous life. But let's make this more personal. What is holding you back from practicing self-reflection? Is it the fear of what you might discover about yourself, or perhaps a reluctance to confront past mistakes? Remember, self-reflection is not about dwelling on the past but learning from it. It's about acknowledging where you are, understanding where you want to go, and then taking deliberate steps to get there. As the Stoics teach us, the journey to wisdom is a continuous process of self-examination and self-correction. And you too can embark on this journey, starting today. To truly embody the Stoic principle of self-reflection, you must be willing to face yourself honestly, to accept both your strengths and your weaknesses, and to commit to a path of constant self-improvement. It's about acting as if you have nothing to lose because, in truth, you don't, except your own misconceptions and limitations. So ask yourself today, how can I practice more self-reflection? What steps can I take to be more mindful of my actions, thoughts, and words? And how can I use these reflections to become a better, wiser, and more fulfilled person? By embracing self-reflection, you begin to see that true strength comes not from external accomplishments or recognition, but from a deep understanding of yourself and a commitment to living in accordance with your highest values. It's about quieting the noise around you, listening to the stillness within, and trusting that this inner wisdom will guide you on the path to a more meaningful life. As you move forward, let the words of Socrates, who greatly influenced Stoic thought, be your guide. The unexamined life is not worth living. Take these words to heart, make self-reflection a daily practice, and watch as it transforms your life in ways you never imagined possible. Thank you for being with us in this video on Be Silent and Act as If You Have Nothing to Lose, through the lens of Stoicism. How do you think embracing silence and acting fearlessly without attachment could impact your daily life or personal growth? We'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If you're unsure of what to write, you could start by sharing a moment when choosing silence or acting without fear helped you find clarity or inner peace. Let's learn and grow together through our shared insights. 4. Act without fear of loss. In a world filled with uncertainty and constant change, how often do we find ourselves paralyzed by the fear of losing what we have worked so hard to gain? Now we're diving into a powerful Stoic principle that can reshape how you approach life's challenges. Act without fear of loss. Imagine the freedom that comes from living your life as if you have nothing to lose, embracing each moment with courage and clarity. As Epictetus, the renowned Stoic philosopher, once said, "He who is not a slave to fear knows freedom." This idea challenges us to rethink our relationship with fear and loss, and in doing so, it offers a path to a life filled with purpose, resilience, and strength. The concept of acting without fear of loss is one of the most liberating ideas in Stoic philosophy. It invites us to live boldly and courageously, unburdened by the constant fear of losing what we value most, whether it be our wealth, reputation, relationships, or even our sense of self. The Stoics believed that true freedom comes from understanding that external things are not truly ours to keep. They are transient, impermanent, and often beyond our control. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor who faced numerous trials during his reign, wrote in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This powerful reminder compels us to focus on what truly matters and to act decisively, without the fear of what we might lose along the way. But what does it really mean to act without fear of loss? It's about embracing the idea that everything external, your possessions, your status, even your relationships, are temporary and can be taken away at any moment. Instead of living in constant anxiety over these potential losses, the Stoic approach teaches us to cultivate an inner strength that isn't dependent on external circumstances. Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, said, "He suffers more than necessary, who suffers before it is necessary." This statement is a profound call to stop worrying about what might happen and to focus instead on what we can control: our actions, our responses, and our mindset. Think about how much time and energy you spend worrying about things that are ultimately out of your hands. You might worry about losing your job, your investments, or even your health. Yet by fixating on these fears, you become trapped in a cycle of anxiety and hesitation, often missing out on opportunities to act boldly and with purpose. What if, instead, you approached each day with the mindset that you have nothing to lose? What if you decided to live fully, embracing both the risks and rewards of every action, without allowing the fear of loss to dictate your choices? This shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering. It allows you to break free from the chains of fear and to engage more fully with life's challenges and opportunities. Consider a modern example of this principle in action. Take the story of a middle-aged man, let's call him Robert, who, after years in a stable but unfulfilling job, decides to pursue his lifelong dream of starting his own business. The fear of losing his steady income, his savings, and even his sense of security is palpable. Yet, Robert chooses to act without fear of loss. He understands that these fears are natural but not insurmountable. He decides to invest in himself and his vision, knowing that even if he fails, he will gain invaluable experience and personal growth. This decision, guided by a Stoic mindset, not only leads to the success of his business, but also brings him a deeper sense of fulfillment and purpose. Robert's story is a testament to the power of acting without fear, a principle that can transform not just careers, but lives. Reflect on your own life for a moment. What have you been holding back from because of fear? Maybe it's a new career path, a relationship, or even a personal project. The Stoics would encourage you to examine these fears closely. Are they rooted in reality, or are they exaggerated by your mind? Often we fear loss because we overestimate its impact on our lives. We think losing our job or facing a failed venture is the end of the world. But in reality, it's merely a setback, a challenge that can be overcome with resilience and determination. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus observed, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. This quote underscores the importance of mindset over circumstances, a crucial lesson for anyone looking to live a more fearless life. Acting without fear of loss doesn't mean being reckless or careless. Instead, it's about understanding that fear itself is often the biggest obstacle we face. It's about recognizing that by worrying about what might be lost, we often lose sight of what can be gained. It's about shifting your focus from potential losses to potential growth, from what could go wrong to what could go right. This mindset doesn't just help you take bold actions, it also helps you become more adaptable and resilient, qualities that are essential in a world that is constantly changing and often unpredictable. Moreover, when you act without fear of loss, you start to live more authentically. You stop trying to please everyone or live up to external expectations and instead focus on what truly matters to you. You become more aligned with your values and more committed to your goals, and in doing so, you inspire others to do the same. You become a leader, not because of your title or position, but because of your courage to act according to your convictions, regardless of the outcome. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, a lesson that is just as relevant today as it was 2,000 years ago. So, how can you begin to act without fear of loss in your own life? Start by identifying one area where fear is holding you back. It could be a professional risk you're afraid to take, a difficult conversation you've been avoiding, or a personal dream you've been putting off. Ask yourself, what is the worst that could happen? And more importantly, what is the best that could happen? Then take a deep breath and take that step, knowing that no matter the outcome, you have acted with courage and integrity. Remember, as Marcus Aurelius said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Ultimately, acting without fear of loss is about living with a sense of freedom and purpose. It's about embracing the uncertainties of life and trusting in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It's about understanding that while you can't control everything that happens to you, you can always control how you respond. This is the path to a more fulfilling, meaningful life. One where you truly have nothing to lose because your worth is not tied to external things but is grounded in your own actions and character. So the next time you feel fear creeping in, remember this. You have the strength to act, the wisdom to choose well, and the resilience to overcome any loss. And in doing so, you'll discover a life of greater freedom, courage, and joy. 5. Cultivate inner peace through detachment. Let's talk about cultivating inner peace through detachment, a concept that may seem challenging in our fast-paced modern world, but is crucial for living a fulfilling and resilient life. Detachment doesn't mean withdrawing from the world or becoming indifferent to everything around you. Instead, it's about learning to maintain a sense of inner calm and balance, no matter what is happening externally. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers who have much to teach us today, emphasize this practice of detachment as a way to achieve inner peace. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This powerful statement captures the essence of detachment, focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, your responses, and your attitudes, while letting go of what you cannot. But how do we apply this wisdom to our everyday lives, and why is it so important? Think about how often you find yourself emotionally tied to things beyond your control. Perhaps it's the outcome of a project at work, the behavior of a friend or family member, or even the unpredictable events happening in the world. These attachments often lead to stress, anxiety, and a sense of helplessness. The Stoics would advise us to detach from these external factors, not by ignoring them, but by understanding that our inner peace should not depend on them. Epictetus, another wise Stoic, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This idea challenges us to take responsibility for our own emotions and to develop a mindset that isn't easily swayed by external circumstances. To illustrate this, consider the story of Sarah, a business executive who used to be highly reactive to everything happening around her. If a client complained, she would immediately feel anxious and stressed, worrying about her reputation and the future of her company. If the stock market dipped, she would lose sleep, fearing financial ruin. This constant state of worry took a toll on her health and happiness. Then Sarah discovered Stoicism and the concept of detachment. She began to practice focusing on what she could control, her actions, her communication, and her decision-making process, while letting go of what she couldn't, like the opinions of others or the unpredictable swings of the market. Over time, she found herself calmer, more centered, and better able to handle whatever came her way. Her business thrived not because she was lucky, but because she was no longer paralyzed by fear and anxiety. She had cultivated inner peace through detachment, just as the Stoics had taught. But why is detachment so difficult for many of us? It's because we are often conditioned to believe that our worth is tied to external achievements or possessions. We think that if we just work harder, earn more, or achieve more, we will finally find peace. But the truth is, as the Stoics remind us, peace comes from within, not from without. It's about recognizing that while we can strive for success and enjoy our accomplishments, we should not be dependent on them for our sense of self-worth or happiness. Ask yourself, what are you currently attached to that might be disrupting your inner peace? Is it a desire for recognition, a need for control, or perhaps a fear of the unknown? By identifying these attachments, you can begin to understand how they impact your emotional well-being and start working towards letting them go. Detachment is not about becoming emotionless. It's about not letting your emotions control you. It's about understanding that you are separate from your thoughts and feelings, and that you have the power to choose how you respond to them. Consider this. When faced with a challenging situation, do you react impulsively, or do you take a moment to pause, reflect, and then respond? This pause is where detachment lives. It allows you to step back, to see things more clearly, and to choose a response that is aligned with your values and goals. This approach not only helps you stay calm in the face of adversity, but also makes you more resilient and better equipped to handle whatever life throws at you. So, how can you start cultivating inner peace through detachment today? Begin by practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. Notice when you are becoming overly attached to an outcome, or when you are letting external events dictate your mood. When you catch yourself in these moments, take a deep breath and remind yourself of the Stoic principle. Focus on what you can control, and let go of what you cannot. Journaling can also be a helpful tool in this process, allowing you to reflect on your thoughts and emotions and to see where you might be holding on too tightly. Remember the words of Seneca, "He who is brave is free." Detachment is a form of bravery, a courageous choice to let go of what you cannot change and to find freedom in that release. Think about a recent situation where you felt your peace was disturbed. What caused it? Was it something outside of your control? How did you react, and how might you have responded differently if you had practiced detachment? These questions are not meant to criticize, but to encourage introspection and growth. The more you practice this, the more you will find that your peace is not easily shaken, and that you can navigate life's ups and downs with greater ease and grace. Cultivating inner peace through detachment is about learning to maintain a sense of calm and clarity, no matter what is happening around you. It's about recognizing that while you cannot control every event or outcome, you can always control your response. This mindset not only helps you stay grounded and focused, but also allows you to live more fully, free from the constant fear of loss or failure. As you go about your day, try to remember the Stoic wisdom. Act with intention, stay true to your values, and detach from the need to control everything around you. In doing so, you will find a deeper sense of peace, strength, and resilience, a way of living that is not just reactive, but proactive, not just surviving, but thriving. And in that space of inner calm, you will discover a freedom that no external circumstance can take away. So, ask yourself today, how can I practice detachment in my own life, and what steps can I take to cultivate more inner peace? The answers may just change the way you approach everything. 6. Choose your battles wisely. Let's delve into the wisdom of choosing your battles wisely, a principle that resonates deeply with the teachings of Stoicism and is incredibly relevant in our modern, fast-paced lives. The idea is simple yet profound. Not every fight is worth engaging in. Not every argument is worth winning. And not every slight demands a response. The Stoics believed that a wise person knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act and when to hold back. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never any need to get worked up or to trouble your soul about things you can't control." This insight reminds us that our energy is finite and should be conserved for the most important battles, those that truly matter to our values and long-term goals. So, how do we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? And what does it mean to choose your battles wisely in a world that often pushes us to react to every provocation? Consider the countless situations where you feel tempted to react. Perhaps it's an argument with a colleague, a rude comment from a stranger, or even a heated discussion online. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to feel the need to defend your honor, prove a point, or assert your dominance. But ask yourself, is this battle worth fighting? What do you truly gain from engaging in every conflict that comes your way? Seneca, another prominent Stoic philosopher, offered this advice. It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. This teaches us that true wealth lies not in winning every battle, but in knowing which battles are worth our time and energy. To illustrate this principle, let's think about a real-life example. Imagine you're at work, and a colleague makes a snide remark about your recent project. Your first instinct might be to snap back, to defend your work, and to show them they're wrong. But pause for a moment and reflect. Is this really the best use of your energy? What do you achieve by engaging in a pointless argument that may escalate and create unnecessary tension? Instead, consider the Stoic approach. Take a deep breath, acknowledge the remark without reacting emotionally, and choose to focus on your work and your own standards of excellence. By doing so, you conserve your energy for more meaningful endeavors and maintain your peace of mind. This is what it means to choose your battles wisely. Not every insult requires retaliation, not every comment needs a response, and not every fight deserves your participation. But why is it so hard to walk away from a fight? It's often because our egos are involved. We feel that backing down or staying silent is a sign of weakness, that it means we are conceding defeat. However, the Stoics teach us that true strength lies in self-control, in the ability to rise above petty squabbles and focus on what truly matters. Epictetus put it well when he said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This is a powerful reminder that our reactions are within our control, even when external events are not. So next time you find yourself drawn into a conflict, ask yourself, is this reaction serving me? Is this battle aligned with my values and my goals? Think about your own life for a moment. How often have you found yourself drained by conflicts that in hindsight weren't worth your time? Maybe it was an argument over politics at a family gathering or a social media spat that led nowhere. Reflect on how these situations affected your mood, your energy, and your focus. Was the emotional cost worth it? Or could that energy have been better spent elsewhere, on nurturing your relationships, pursuing your passions, or simply enjoying a peaceful moment? By choosing your battles wisely, you give yourself the freedom to direct your energy toward what truly matters to you. This approach doesn't mean that you should avoid all conflict. There are certainly times when standing up for yourself or others is necessary and right. But the key is to discern which battles are worth fighting and which are not. A wise person, according to the Stoics, is one who understands the difference. When you engage in battles that align with your values and principles, you fight with purpose and conviction. But when you waste your energy on trivial matters, you not only exhaust yourself but also distract from your greater goals. So, consider this. How can you become more selective about the battles you choose? How can you practice restraint and maintain your composure, even when provoked? Think about the leaders and figures you admire most. What makes them stand out? Is it their ability to argue and fight every battle that comes their way? Or is it their ability to remain calm under pressure, to know when to speak and when to remain silent, to focus on the big picture rather than getting lost in the details? Take a lesson from their example, and remember that choosing your battles wisely is a sign of strength, not weakness. It's about knowing yourself, understanding your priorities, and having the courage to walk away from conflicts that don't serve you. At the end of the day, choosing your battles wisely is about aligning your actions with your long-term goals and values. It's about conserving your energy for the fights that truly matter, those that have a real impact on your life and the lives of those around you. It's about recognizing that your time and energy are precious and should not be wasted on trivial matters. As you move forward, keep the Stoic wisdom in mind. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Use this as your guiding principle in deciding which battles are worth your time and effort. So, the next time you feel the urge to jump into a conflict, pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? What will I gain from this? Is this battle aligned with my values? By doing so, you will not only avoid unnecessary stress and drama, but also cultivate a deeper sense of peace and purpose in your life. Remember, life is too short to waste on battles that don't matter. Choose your battles wisely, and you will find that you have more energy, more focus, and more time to devote to the things that truly make your life rich and meaningful. In this way, you will be living the Stoic ideal, acting with wisdom, purpose, and inner strength, as if you have nothing to lose. If you've made it this far, you're embracing the Stoic spirit of courage and clarity. Drop a comment saying, "I choose silence and strength," to show your commitment to living fearlessly and with purpose. Stay tuned, as there's much more wisdom to explore on this journey. 7. Respond thoughtfully, not impulsively. In a world that often rewards quick reactions and immediate responses, there is a profound strength in the ability to pause, to think, and to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. This principle, rooted in Stoic philosophy, challenges us to rise above the chaos of everyday life and to act with intention and clarity, as if we have nothing to lose. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." This quote serves as a powerful reminder that by responding thoughtfully, we open ourselves to growth, understanding, and wisdom, qualities that are increasingly rare yet invaluable in today's fast-paced world. To respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively is to harness a power that few truly master, but that holds immense potential for personal and professional growth. In our daily lives, we are constantly faced with situations that provoke immediate reactions: an abrupt email from a colleague, a criticism from a friend, or an unexpected challenge that catches us off guard. The instinct is to react quickly, often defensively, and without fully considering the consequences. But what if, instead of succumbing to this knee-jerk reaction, you chose to pause, reflect, and then respond with calm and deliberate thought? This practice is at the heart of Stoicism, where the emphasis is placed on self-control, understanding, and the pursuit of virtue. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor who led Rome through times of great turmoil, wrote in his Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This wisdom teaches us that the power to choose our responses lies within us, not in the external events themselves. It is this choice that defines our character and shapes our destiny. Consider how this approach can transform your interactions and decision-making. Think of a scenario in your own life where you respond impulsively, perhaps snapping at a loved one in frustration or making a hasty decision at work that you later regretted. Reflect on the outcome. Did the situation improve? Or did it lead to more confusion, hurt feelings, or missed opportunities? Now imagine if you had taken a moment to breathe, to process your thoughts, and to respond with clarity and composure. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control what happens to us, we can control how we react, and this is where our true power lies. Seneca, another renowned Stoic philosopher, wisely said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This statement highlights the importance of not letting our immediate emotions dictate our actions, but rather taking the time to assess the reality of the situation before deciding on a course of action. Let's bring this idea into a modern context. Imagine you are in a business meeting, and a colleague suddenly criticizes your presentation. Your initial reaction might be to defend yourself or even retaliate with a criticism of their work. But what if, instead, you took a moment to pause, to listen, and to consider the feedback thoughtfully? By responding calmly and constructively, not only do you demonstrate emotional intelligence, but you also open up the possibility for meaningful dialogue and improvement. This approach can turn potential conflict into an opportunity for growth, collaboration, and mutual respect. In doing so, you embody the Stoic principle of thoughtful response over impulsive reaction, a principle that is not just about being passive, but about being proactive in the pursuit of wisdom and understanding. This is particularly relevant in today's digital age, where social media and instant communication often pressure us to respond immediately. We see a provocative post, receive a critical comment, or read a piece of news that stirs our emotions, and we feel compelled to react right away. But as the Stoics teach us, it's crucial to take a step back and ask ourselves, is this response necessary? Is it helpful? Does it align with my values? By asking these questions, we give ourselves the space to consider our actions carefully and ensure they contribute positively to our lives and the lives of others. This practice not only protects our peace of mind, but also helps build stronger, more respectful relationships. Let's look at another example. Think of a parent dealing with a child's tantrum. An impulsive response might be to yell or punish in frustration, but a thoughtful response might involve understanding the child's needs, staying calm, and guiding them through their emotions. The latter not only resolves the situation more effectively, but also teaches the child valuable lessons in emotional regulation. The same principle applies to all our interactions, whether at home, at work, or in social settings. By responding thoughtfully, we create a ripple effect of positivity and understanding that benefits everyone involved. But why is responding thoughtfully often more challenging than reacting impulsively? It's because thoughtful responses require patience, self-control, and a willingness to look beyond our immediate emotions to consider the bigger picture. It requires us to put our ego aside, to listen actively, and to seek understanding rather than victory. This is not always easy, especially in moments of stress or when we feel attacked. However, the rewards are worth the effort. When we respond thoughtfully, we are more likely to build trust, foster respect, and create meaningful connections. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." This Stoic advice encourages us to rise above pettiness and to respond with virtue and wisdom rather than react in kind. So how can you start practicing this principle of thoughtful response in your daily life? Begin by becoming more aware of your triggers, the situations or people that provoke impulsive reactions in you. Once you've identified these, make a conscious effort to pause and breathe the next time you feel triggered. Give yourself a moment to process what's happening and to consider your response carefully. Ask yourself, what is the most constructive way to handle this? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my values and goals? By doing this, you'll find that you not only respond more thoughtfully, but also feel more in control and less stressed by external events. Ultimately, responding thoughtfully rather than impulsively is about mastering yourself. It's about choosing to act with intention and purpose rather than being a slave to your emotions or external circumstances. It's about recognizing that while you cannot control what others do or say, you can always control how you choose to respond. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom and the key to living a life of greater peace, resilience, and fulfillment. As you go through your day, remember the words of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Let this be your guiding principle in all your interactions and decisions. By practicing this, you not only strengthen your character, but also create a more harmonious and meaningful life for yourself and those around you. So, next time you are faced with a challenging situation, take a moment to pause, reflect, and choose your response wisely. In doing so, you will find that you are not just reacting to life, but actively shaping it in accordance with your highest values and deepest wisdom. 8. Find strength in integrity. Let's explore the idea of finding strength in integrity, a principle deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy and one that holds immense relevance in today's world. Integrity isn't just about being honest with others. It's about being true to yourself, living in alignment with your core values and making decisions that reflect your true character, even when no one is watching. This is the essence of Stoicism, living a life of virtue where your actions consistently reflect your beliefs and principles. As Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, wrote in his Meditations, "Just that you do the right thing. The rest doesn't matter." This powerful statement underscores the importance of integrity in our daily lives and reminds us that true strength comes not from external achievements or possessions, but from within. Specifically, from our commitment to live authentically and truthfully, no matter the circumstances or consequences. Think about the countless situations you face each day where your integrity is tested. Maybe it's a tempting opportunity to cut corners at work to get ahead faster, or a moment where bending the truth seems like the easier path to avoid conflict or discomfort. It's in these moments that your character is truly tested, and the choice you make defines who you are. But why does integrity require so much strength? Because it often means doing what's right, even when it's difficult, unpopular, or goes against your immediate self-interest. It's about standing firm in your values, even when there's pressure to compromise. Consider the words of Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher who said, "I will govern my life and my thoughts as if the whole world were to see the one and read the other." This quote captures the essence of living with integrity, acting as if your every thought and action were visible to the world, and choosing the path of virtue regardless of external pressures. To illustrate this idea, let's reflect on a modern-day example. Picture a man named James, a mid-level manager at a large corporation, who is offered a significant promotion on the condition that he remains silent about some unethical practices he's recently discovered within the company. The promotion promises a higher salary, greater prestige, and a more comfortable life for his family. The easier path would be to accept the promotion and turn a blind eye to the wrongdoings. However, James, grounded in his commitment to integrity, decides to speak up. He chooses to expose the unethical practices, knowing full well that it could cost him the promotion or even his job. But James understands that his self-respect and peace of mind are worth far more than any temporary gain. He finds strength in his integrity, and while the road is not easy, he ultimately gains the respect of his peers and retains his self-worth, showing that integrity often brings long-term rewards that far outweigh any short-term benefits. But why is integrity so essential in our lives, especially in a world where the lines between right and wrong are often blurred, and where success is frequently measured by status, wealth, and power? It's because integrity provides a solid foundation for decision-making, a compass that guides us through the complex and often confusing maze of life's challenges. It helps us stay true to our values and principles, and it gives us the confidence to face any situation without fear or doubt. When you live with integrity, you build a reputation of trust and reliability. People know they can count on you to do the right thing, even when it's hard. And this trust is invaluable. It opens doors, builds relationships, and creates opportunities that might not otherwise exist. Ask yourself, in your own life, where have you faced challenges to your integrity? Have there been times when you were tempted to take the easy way out, but chose to stand by your principles instead? How did that choice affect you in the long run? Integrity isn't just about grand gestures or significant decisions. It's also about the small, everyday actions that define us. It's about keeping your word, even when it's inconvenient, showing up on time, and being consistent in your actions and words. It's about treating others with respect and kindness, even when they are not around to see it, and about being honest with yourself about your strengths and weaknesses. When you practice integrity in these small ways, it becomes a natural part of who you are, and you build a strong foundation of character that supports you in more significant challenges. As Epictetus, the Stoic teacher, taught, First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This advice encourages us to envision the person we want to become and then make choices that align with that vision, day in and day out. Think about a moment in your life when you felt truly proud of yourself. Chances are it wasn't a moment when you took the easy route or did something that compromised your values. More likely, it was a time when you acted with integrity, when you stood up for what was right even when it was difficult. These moments of integrity are what define us and give our lives meaning and purpose. They are the moments that build our confidence and self-respect, and they are the moments that others remember and respect us for. So, how can you cultivate more integrity in your own life? Start by identifying your core values, those principles that are most important to you. Then, make a commitment to live by those values no matter what. It might mean making some tough choices or walking away from situations that don't align with your principles, but in the end, you will find that the strength and peace of mind that comes from living with integrity is far more valuable than any temporary gain. In conclusion, finding strength and integrity is about more than just being honest or truthful. It's about aligning your actions with your deepest values and living in a way that reflects your true character even when it's difficult. It's about making choices that you can be proud of, knowing that they are in line with who you are and who you want to be. As you move forward in your life, remember the words of Marcus Aurelius. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. Let this be your guide in every decision you make and every action you take. By finding strength in your integrity, you not only live a life of purpose and fulfillment but also inspire others to do the same. And in a world that often seems to reward the opposite, this is perhaps the greatest achievement of all. So, ask yourself today, how can you live with more integrity? What steps can you take to ensure that your actions always align with your values? The answers to these questions may very well shape the course of your life and the legacy you leave behind. As we conclude today's exploration of the Stoic principle, be silent and act as if you have nothing to lose, let's take a moment to reflect on how we can apply these powerful ideas in our own lives. By embracing silence, we cultivate the strength to listen more deeply, reflect more carefully, and respond more thoughtfully. Acting as if we have nothing to lose empowers us to let go of our fears and anxieties, opening us up to opportunities for growth and self-improvement. This approach allows us to find clarity and focus, reminding us that true freedom and happiness come not from accumulating things, but from letting go of attachments and living with purpose, wisdom, and inner peace. How can you practice this mindset today? What steps will you take to embrace silence and act without fear? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear your stories. And if you found value in this discussion, please like, share, and subscribe to Stoic in Your Life for more insights on applying Stoic wisdom to modern challenges. Together we can continue to grow, learn, and live a life of virtue and resilience. Thank you for joining us on this journey.